YouTube, and welcome back to the Loose Transistor channel. I'm your host Lucas, and I know it's been a really long time, probably about 2 months since we've actually spoken to you guys, and I'm really sorry about that, but things have just exploded over here and shit's crazy all over the place. But I finally have a lot of stuff to catch up with you guys on. I have some new stuff to show you right here. This is the Flynoceros BFF, or the Butter Frame. That's right, ButterFlight Frame. That is coming out soon. This is one of the prototypes that I'm going to be testing. I'm going to talk a little bit about that for you guys. We're going to catch up a little bit about ButterFlight and a few of the loose ends that I left off with you guys from the last episode. So let's get started. Let's talk about, first of all, some of the loose ends that I left with you guys as of last time. So one of the loose ends that I left with you guys was my 6-inch Hive. This little guy right here, one of the classics. Love flying these frames. The Hive frames are freaking amazing. I had one of these built out with a CL Racing F4, and I told you guys that I was getting crazy shakes and oscillations and couldn't get rid of it no matter what. So I went ahead and got myself a Helio Spring AIO. So the all-in-one PDB built-in 6S can do something crazy like 200 amps. And I got that installed on this quad right here. We'll see if you guys can take a little quick look right there. The board is right in there. I can't really see it. Well, it's in there, I promise you. The good thing about the AIO, in my opinion, is that it was a pretty much straight up drop-in upgrade for the CL Racing F4 that I had here in place. It's almost like the pads are almost quite in the same place, at least for the motors. I didn't have to get new wires or anything else like that. I just resoldered the motors on, and the same with the motor signals. However, my receiver and other things had to get some cable extensions because they weren't quite working out. So I've been flying this guy here with the, first I had actually the Omnibus fireworks. In fact, let's talk a little bit about the Omnibus fireworks. I didn't like it. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys, and I'm really not sold on the Omnibus fireworks, especially because of that encased gyro. Now, I've been hearing some rumors out there on the Rotor Riot page about how that is actually a function of the way that the gyros were encased. Some of them weren't perfectly encased, and that's causing some issues. But I don't know. In my case, I just found that what would happen on the fireworks is that they would just shake like crazy no matter what I did. Everything that I tried, tuning, didn't matter. Change props, didn't matter. Everything would just be like, as soon as you're past 30% throttle, the whole thing would shake. So I'm really not sold on the fireworks, and that's why I ended up going to the Helio Spring. Now, with the Helio Spring on this quad, it got a lot better right out of the box. Like, half of my oscillation problems and vibrations were gone. However, I haven't had a huge amount of time to fly and tune it, and I've been tuning it slowly every time I go out. I try to tune it a little bit, and it's gotten better. I'm down to now 2 bands of throttle, right about, I'd say 50%, and then again at like 65%, where I get some oscillations and some shaking, but it's getting closer. I'm starting to suspect that part of my problem here might be the ESCs. These are not my tried and true DYS area ESCs. These are the GS30, the Spedix. And I don't know, man, I really want to like the Spedix, but all my quads with Spedix have this weird noise issue, some more than others, whereas my DYS 32-bit quads are perfect. I have really little complaints to do with those. Like, for instance, this guy right here, which is really, so these quads here are both same frame, same everything except for the flight controller. Really, like literally, the flight controller is the only difference, and the ESC, sorry. This guy here has the DYS area. Anyway, this quad here, old, beat up, CL Racing F4S, DYS area, doesn't have the throttle, well, it has a little bit, but not as much as this guy right here with the Helio Spring. So I'm starting to think that maybe my ESCs might be playing a huge part on why I'm having issues with this build. So I might end up switching out this quad here for DYS Aria and see how that works out. So I'm still searching for the best of the best 32-bit ESCs out there. However, I will continue to say that 32-bit ESCs kicks ass, and it's way better than the _S, so I'd stick with the 32-bit. So that's the update on the AIO. It was incredibly easy to build. I can't stress that enough. It took me 3 hours to reconfigure this thing here, last actually 2 hours to resolder everything, to get it where it was ready to fly, conformal coating, all that good stuff. So it was super damn easy to solder, and I am using the Nano RX for the Crossfire right there, and it's awesome. I'm really, really digging the extra range that I'm getting on this guy. Now the 7-inch, I've been tuning it as well. This one here has the Helio Spring, just a regular Helio Spring, but I'm still not happy with it. My problem, I think, is heavily mechanical, and I'll show you why. If you can see inside my stack there, it is super compressed. And we have a theme here. Hive builds are awesome. I love these frames, but damn, they're tight, man. So anyway, I think my problem here with this quad is just that everything is just so freaking damn crammed in there, and I have stuff touching the flight controller from the bottom and the top. It is getting better though, and with Odin, the latest release of ButterFlight, the one we just dropped a couple weeks back, it improved massively. Not only did it help my MTO, but the feel of the quad got a lot better as well. That has to do with a few of the different changes that we made, which we're going to talk about later on the show. So that's the 7-inch. I'm still trying to play around. So 6 and 7-inch, I'm still not super happy with. However, my 5-inch Heliospring quad flies like it's on rails. Like it's almost unbelievable. Maybe we'll throw a little bit of DVR footage here for you guys so you can check it out, see how damn steady this thing is. Like I'm super impressed. So 5-inch is no longer a challenge in terms of getting like crisp HD and no oscillations and no micro stutters and all that good stuff. Literally with a Heliospring and some 32-bit ESCs, you're pretty much good to go. What else we got that we haven't caught up on? Right. I've been trying out this guy right here. Probably familiar to a lot of you guys. This is pretty much old news now. The TBS Diamond. I am liking it a lot. It seems to improve my range, or at least not so much my range, but I feel like I get better coverage in areas where before my LQ would drop a bit, and now it doesn't drop. And I feel more confident flying my quads, which means that I'm taking them a little bit further and trying to fly in some more interesting ways. So I'll drop a video in the next few days there of my explorations with the Crossfire. They're nothing crazy, nothing super long range yet. I'm still like finding my legs and figuring this whole stuff out. But really, really impressed with the TBS antenna. Not bad. It's actually held up pretty good considering that I've dropped it a few times, and I just travel with it loose in my bag. Like it just sits there because I can't find a good way to put it in my my radio bag. So there's that. And finally, I have finished and I have published STLs for this guy right here. So what is this? This is a battery pack for my goggles. I like to run them on my waist, so it has a nice little little clip there that you can just clip it onto your belt or onto your waist. It is basically just an case for two 18650s in here and a charge circuit. I'm gonna open it up here real quick to show you guys. Alright, so here you can get a better look of what we've got. So it's basically just like two 18650s, so it's a 2-cell battery pack for your goggles. There's no regulation here, I'm just sending that voltage straight out of the XT30 right here at the front. And right here, you might not be able to see very well inside of the Kapton tape there, but what you have there is basically just a charge circuit for 2S batteries. It's designed for 18650s, and basically all it does is manage your batteries for you. It does the charging, and it cuts off the battery if it reaches a certain threshold, which is great. And we have here just a little simple voltmeter that tells you, well, it's upside down, tells you how much voltage, oh, actually it was the right way. Anyway, tells you how much voltage you have left on the pack, so you can always just look down and see how much pack voltage you have and how much longer you can fly. And I just threw on this cool little like button here, on-off button, because it just looks dope. Anyway, this was super simple to do, super easy to print. You can print it out a PLA. You just have to get your own 18650s and do the wiring yourself. It's not complicated at all. And if you want this stuff here, we'll have a link at the bottom of the description so you can check it out as well. It's similar to this guy here that I already showed you guys, the weird grip pistol thing with this giant switch, except this one here takes an external XT60 battery up to 5S, minimum of 2S, and outputs it out to the goggles, and this one here just outputs the battery itself. It is self-contained. So I kind of have both in my bag. I prefer to use this one here because it's a little bit nicer, and if I run out and I need some emergency power, I can pull this guy out right here. But all this has been really just an experiment in me learning more about Fusion 360, how to print stuff, how to build stuff, and it's been awesome. It's super fun. So one of the next things that I want to work on eventually is continue collaborating with the Flynoceros guys. I have some ideas for drone frames that I want to put forward and maybe design myself and see if they can improve on it as well. So we'll see how it goes in the future, what else we can do with those guys. Yeah, super happy with this guy here, and I think I've already showed you this stuff before, but this is the cable that I'm using for my goggles now. So it's basically just an old school like barrel connector with the balance lead coming off of it, some nice paracord going all the way to a nice male XT30 right here, which is kind of hard to see because it won't focus. But anyway, there you go. So I can use this same cable on either one of my battery packs here, and just gives me a lot of flexibility. So I really like that. The only thing I'm missing now is a rapid fire or one of the Clearview goggle modules so that I no longer have to be attached to the ground station. But I still can't get over how much nicer it is to fly with Clearview, so I still drag the thing out everywhere I go. just can't escape it. So yeah, that's where we're at for gear, catching up on some of the stuff that I left off with you guys last time. I think that's all I had to cover. If I missed something, drop a comment. Next time I'll do a video, I'll talk about that stuff as well. So I think now we should talk a little bit about ButterFlight release. So as many of you have already heard, ButterFlight just released RC3, or what's colloquially known as Odin. The reason Odin came to be the name is because Helio, the guys from Helio, were calling that specific build Odin. Same features that are on Odin for Helio Spring are on Odin for everybody else on ButterFlight. Is the only difference is that if you have IMUF or Helio Spring, you're going to get access to the IMUF properties and pre-gyro filtering. All the other targets don't. That's just part of how it works. But all the other features that we've introduced into RC3, which you can find on the releases, which I'll put down on the description, are available for all targets. We still have a bit of a problem with F3s and D-Shot where it's not working at all, and it seems like we've traced it down to actually a lack of space. So we're going to be looking at how we are going to get D-Shot back onto F3s. And I do apologize to you guys who fly F3s. I know that we champion F3s a lot in the beginning of all this, but the reality is that we are a small team. It's very difficult to cover all the targets, and none of us actually have F3s anymore. Like, I'm sorry to admit that. I really don't fly F3s anymore, except for my Baby Hawk, and that thing died like 2 weeks ago. I smashed it into a pole and it just doesn't turn on anymore. So I don't know, I have to tear it apart and see, probably just broke a connection somewhere. But anyway, I digress. So yes, F3s are still kind of lacking. We're gonna be looking into that as well to clean that up and bring it onto par. Where we're going to be taking F3s in the future, I'm not sure yet. Some of the stuff that we are looking into doing, of course, always with a focus on the performance and usability, is one of the next areas that we really want to attack now that we've somewhat stabilized the software, is to add better tools for the configuration interface, make a better configurator, an easier to use configurator, so that more people can get on ButterFlight easier. One of the things that many people complain about is that it's just so hard to damn set up the thing, and same thing with BetaFlight and CleanFlight and so on. It is not a simple interface to use, at least for the newcomer. So we want to make inroads on there and make it a little bit easier for people to understand and use the interface. So that's some of the stuff that you can expect in the future. As for what we're going to be doing performance-wise, we're going to continue to push and try to find the best PID controller filters that we can find to make your quad fly smooth. That's what we're looking for. And for you guys out there that are always asking me, when will target XYZ be there? When were you guys going to do target XYZ? That is a tough question to answer. First of all, a lot of times people are asking us for targets for boards that we don't have on hand, or we don't have access to the pin layouts or this and that, so it makes it tricky. And some of the reality is that we just don't actually have time to dedicate to adding new targets right now. We're a small team, so we have to pick what we focus on. So most of our focus in the past few months has been on performance and fixing the firmware to the level where we want it to be, and then we are going to look into adding more targets later on. However, if you are out there and you love ButterFlight and you have some inclination as to how to do programming, and you happen to have the board that you want to have the target for, come talk to me and I'll guide you through making a target, or I'll give you the directions to where you need to look to make your own target, and it should be fairly easy for you to spin one out for us, and we would be glad to have the collaboration and include the target you've created. So, and that goes out to all of you out there. If you are interested in collaborating to the ButterFlight project, please come talk to me and I'll get you guys pointed in the right direction. So, now the moment you've all been waiting for, let's talk about the ButterFlight Frame. Let's go through it and open it together. I'm just gonna move the camera here so you guys can see a little bit better. All right, guys, so let's take a look here at the Flynoceros frame that I got sent. This is one of the prototypes that Flyno sent me to check out and give my feedback on. Comes in this nice, beautiful packaging here with lots of goodies. And I believe they're calling this the BFF. It's basically the ButterFlight frame. This is a frame that they've been working on for the past few months, and basically started off as a community-driven project where the community got to vote on what they were looking for in terms of features for the quad. So let's take a look here and let's go through the package. Let's open it up. I'll talk about some of the reasons why this was picked. Oh crap, I already ruined the packaging. Okay, screw it. There we go. All right, package up. I've actually been saving this for the past few days. I was going to wait until the other Helio Spring AIO arrived, which is what I'm going to be using here. We'll talk about the parts in a bit. I was going to wait until that arrived, but yeah, no, it took too long, so I figured let's talk about it now. So it comes with all the accessories you need basically to get this quad going, including a nice thick battery strap right here. Very big, thick battery strap for the top mount battery. That's what the style of quad this is. there is a, this here is a bumper that goes on the bottom part of the camera, protects you on landings because the camera is actually offset from the axis of the quad. I'll try to show that to you guys here. I'll post some pictures as well on here so you guys can take a look at what I'm talking about. Comes with nicely 3D printed mounts for your crossfire antenna. So these are nice mounts for your crossfire. You put one on each side on the, or sorry, one on each one of the rear standoffs, and then you can basically clip the antenna in here with one go on one side, one go on the other side, so you can have a nice flat protected antenna on the back of the quad. That's just some of the nice little parts it comes with here. Let's put this back in the bag so that I don't lose all this stuff. So there we go. Also comes with a beautiful GoPro mount and all the standoffs you need and all the screws all in this nice little bag here. So all your hardware, all your standoffs, everything right here. And check this out. That is the size of the standoff. That's a 10mm standoff. So that's the biggest standoff on this thing. So at most, the thickness of this quad, excluding battery and all that other stuff, is about 10mm. It's a very slammed down quad. When the community was asked about what they wanted on a frame, they wanted something like Freestyle, super slammed down, top mount battery, and they wanted a neat way to mount the camera. So this here is your standard GoPro session mount, and as you can see here, there's holes in the back and holes here. So what this does is it sits on top of the quad and allows you to adjust the angle. There's about 3 adjustments of angle that you can do with your GoPro, which is freaking great, man. This is awesome. You don't have to print any parts. It comes with the parts already ready to go. This is printed on a nice TPU. This is like really nice print. Very, very solid, and it's adjustable. That's freaking badass. So if you run 15 degrees, 30 degrees, I think it's up to 45 probably. Yeah, I think up to 45 or 35. I'll confirm. But yeah, all ready to go, and it's nice and light. It's not a very heavy mount at all. There's barely any walls to it, right? So we'll have to see how this holds up, because I am actually maybe getting a hero session soon. So once I do, I'll be able to get some nice HD footage on this quad for you guys. So that's that on the parts. I will make sure to show a picture for you guys on here too, so you can understand what's going on here, because I am not going to assemble this right now. I A, don't have time, and B, it's not the easiest thing to assemble, so it's going to take me a little while. Might do a build video on this guy here just because it's pretty unique, and if I can find the time to do build video, even if it's in steps, even if it takes me a few months, we'll do that up. So before I go into the frame here, check this out. This came with it as well. Nice sticker sheet, Flynoceros stuff, really, really nice quality stickers, nice and shiny. I'm gonna put this stuff all over my gear. So if you're looking for some swag, stuff like that, Flynoceros seems to have some really cool stuff. I have to say too, working with these guys throughout the process of designing of them designing this quad and us going through the features and all of that, man, these guys are great. They're super easy to deal with. They're like, you know, your friends from down the street, super friendly, super easy to talk to, and they really pulled it together on this nice package right here. So this is all the carbon you're going to be getting. So as you can see here, the frame is rather long because everything is going to be spread out since it's only about 10mm thick. You get all the hardware you need here with nice locking nuts over there, all the screws you need. There's some weird carbon parts here that we'll go over. All the arms are right in here as well. So let's open it up. See what we got. So these are the top and bottom plate for the quad, and man, these are machined so damn well. So as you can see there on the front, let's see if we can show you guys. Alright, can you see it? Yeah, so it says BFF right there. Those ones there are not chamfered, but these ones here are all chamfered. Those are countersunk holes right there. The logo, check that out. So that's the ButterFlight logo right there, and it is all nicely chamfered all the way around. It's beautiful. Beautifully machined, beautiful carbon fiber, not too thick. I think this is like 2.5 millimeters, something like that, around 2 millimeters. Very nice carbon. The back here has all been cut out so that when you have your ESC here, it's very easy to tie it down and you get good airflow over it. So basically what they wanted was a nice slam down build, very, very easy to set stuff up. And this is what we got. And what you'll notice here is the top and bottom plate are very, very similar. So they've been drilled out quite a bit. These are very, very light. We'll have to see how durable they are, but considering how many standoffs go all the way around to like really stiffen this whole thing up, I think it will be good to go. Very nice Very nice machining. Like, you won't need to sand this down at all. It's already perfect, ready to go. Just put a little bit of cyano acrylate around the edges there and you're set. So these basically sandwich like that, and you'll have the arms coming out of it, and the camera gets nestled right in here with the new armature that I'm gonna try and show you guys right now before we play around with the arms. As you can see here, so there's the bottom plate. This guy right here, which is the camera mount, kind of slides in like, or actually, how did I do that? Yeah, slides in like that from top, boom, boom. So we have that armature right there. So you can see why now we needed that 3D printed cup thing that goes on the bottom there. You don't need it, but it is nice. Then we get the BFF on top. Boom. All right, we're getting there. So, try to show you guys here. So, that right there is the front of the quad. See that? So your stack and everything else will go over there. Your flight controller right here, and then basically your transmitter and your VTX over there, and your camera goes right here. And this guy, let's pull it back up here so you guys can understand. Haha, here we go. Look at that. So it mounts right there on the front. You can adjust the angle by just changing which standoffs it's on. So I just adjusted the angle right there. And look at that. The camera is like, your camera and the GoPro are gonna be pretty much split by the prop line. So for Freestyle, it's gonna be pretty damn great, and it's gonna look super cool. So not that big. It looks bigger in pictures, not that big, but it's a fairly long quad, definitely longer than what I'm used to. I tend to fly straight X pod style quad, so this is gonna be very, very different for me. Basically gonna be just a single AIO over there, and we'll talk about the other parts in a second. And so let's leave that here, chilling out for a second here while we take a look at some of the other components that come with the BFF. I do apologize for the lighting, guys. It's not great today. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I can't get the light right, so I really do apologize. I'll try to fix it up in post, because that's what we do it in post. So, look at these arms, man. This is nice carbon fiber, all already finished, the whole 9 yards. Like, the whole thing is perfectly chamfered. I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see it, but it is perfectly chamfered. Nice, very stiff arms. Holy crap. What is this? They're thick too. I think they're about 4 millimeters. Yeah, so these are thick, strong as hell arms. So these arms right here, the shipped with it, are capable of swinging 6-inch props or 5.5-inch props if you're using the GoPro mount. But I think they're going to be making longer arms if you want to use them for sure. I heard that they can easily make this all the way up to like 10 inches if people really want to, just by lengthening the arms. It's not a huge deal. So these guys would basically go right here, and then another one would go right there, and then you get your standard quad configuration on all sides. So it's going to be a very, very low profile build. It's going to look pretty damn cool. And lastly, to make sure that everything stays super stiff and strong and nothing moves anywhere, it has these nice little spacers right here, which basically sandwich the arms between the two standoffs. So it'll make it so sandwich this, so these guys right here will basically sandwich the arm, will basically like lock the arms into place. It'll sit on top of the arm, sort of like that, with the so right about there. So it sits right on top of it like that. Boom, sandwiches the arm in place and keeps it held there by the standoff and a screw, so it shouldn't go anywhere. Once I get a chance to build it, put it all together, I'll let you guys know how it all comes together. And of course, lastly, there's this nice little piece, just fits in right here in the back. That is for, of course, for your VTX antenna. So there's a nice support right there. You're gonna have standoffs all the way around, and yeah, there you go. Super freaking slim and slam down. Cannot wait to fly this thing. Put your little micro swift camera right on there. Put your little piece here on the bottom. I'm gonna add it up right here right now so we can take a look. So this guy here would come right there. Derp. There we go. Boom. Just like that. So you have a nice little surface to land on and not scratch the crap out of your camera mount. So now that we had a chance to go over the frame, let's go over some of the components that we got here for this quad. So I already talked about the Helio Spring AIO, AIO. That's what's going to be going as the brains of the whole operation. I've pretty much converted over to Helio spring. That's going to be what I'm going for my next few builds. I still love the CL Racing F4. Don't get me wrong. As an F4, damn, that board is great. But man, the Helio is just and it's so easy to build. And now that they've finally added an AIO, all my gripes with it are gone. I don't like using PDBs and all that stuff, but now that they have an AIO, there's nothing else I need to do. So we are going to be using the Spedix GS35 amp because I want this thing to be able to at least run 5, maybe 6S. Should be okay with 6S. I have used these guys a bit now, and I have to say, like, they're reliable. I don't have a problem with they're reliable and they're good to go. My beef with it is, first of all, this heat sink thing right here is damn close to those pads. So if you're not careful, you will bridge them. So be very careful, or you will bridge them and you'll have a bad time. The second thing about them is that they seem hit or miss in terms of noise. I have some of these that are great and they fly beautifully, and then I have some that are not so much. But most of the ones that I have are GS30, so we'll see how the GS35s are any different or not, you know? So we'll check that out. This is what's going to be going on this build, 110%. We already talked about the AIO. I am going to be throwing my trusty Crossfire Nano RX onto this thing as well, because I want this to be a very long range build for me to be able to play with and take it out to the cottage and fly it over water and just do all sorts of crazy things with it. So Crossfire is going on it for sure. We already talked about that. I'm going to be going with an A.k.a VTX this time. I have not used A.k.a VTXs. This is the X2 all the way. This one does up to 800 milliwatt. Yep. So 25, 200, 500, and 800, which gives me a lot of flexibility in terms of where I'm flying. I like that it's very similar to the FXT style of you know, operation, just a button, nothing crazy. I think this one has smart audio. Blah, 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 blah. Looks like it does not. I don't think this one does. Yeah, no smart audio on this guy, which is fine. I don't really care for smart audio. I'm fine with switching buttons by myself. Swear to God, I've put all my quads on raceband 1 and I barely ever have to change them. You know, even at events, because you can pick your frequency. So I just go raceband 1 and don't worry about it. So yeah, A.k.a X2. Very curious to try something out different because I've been pretty much flying FXTs and the little tiny ones, the VTX03s, pretty much exclusively for the last little bit. So we'll try that out. So this time for motors, I went a little bit different. I've tried T motors before, the F80s. I'm damn impressed with those motors, man. Like, they just last. I know they're pricey and all that, but they're well balanced and they're beefy and strong. And I have some that have been with me for damn forever, man. This guy right here, these motors are the original motors that went on this build when I first built it all these months ago. It's a F80 1900 kV. It's been dunked in a lake. It's been crashed, and the windings are still great. They're still copper colored. There's nothing. I even smacked this thing on a pole. Got a little bit of a scratch in the motor, but nothing happened to the magnets. So I'm impressed. They really do last, and they fly nicely. So I went with the F60, and oh shit, before I forget, I should give a huge shout out to Shadi at Rotor Rev for hooking me up with all this stuff. He got this stuff shipped out to me like stat. The guy's great, so if you're looking for parts and all that good stuff, go check out Rotor Rev. Those guys are freaking fantastic. Shadi's a really awesome guy to deal with, and he got me hooked up with all this stuff. Like, literally, I ordered it, he shipped it that same day, and it was here the next day because I told him I wanted to make this video and all that. So awesome guy, awesome people to deal with, and he talked me into getting the F60 Pro. These are brand new, just came into the store. Since I already knew about T-Motor and all that, I figured I'd check it out. I told him I wanted to fly 6-inch, maybe 6S eventually. So he got me these F60s, and these are F60s 2200 kV, which is what I use on my other 6-inch. Now look at those windings, man. They're nice silver windings, very nice looking motor. It's a bit smaller than the F80, a bit lighter, but the magnets, I can really damn feel these magnets. You know the Brother Hobby motors, the 1406 or the 3-inch motors that they had there for a little while, and how coggy they were. Like, people were describing them as coggy. Some people even thought that their bearings were bad. This kind of feels like that. Not as strong, but you can definitely feel it. And we'll see if, I hope this doesn't translate into noise or anything annoying like that, but these look like really nice, well-built motors. Thick, short wires, which will be fine for me because I'm doing single ESCs all the way throughout. And that's the other thing. The ButterFlight frame that we just discussed, it is made for single arm ESCs, AIO style flight controller, so you're not going to really be able to fit a 4-in-1 or anything like that on this build at all. It wasn't designed for it. All these features that we're talking about, the way that the arms came together, the use of an AIO, the slam down nature of the quad, all this came together as part of our polls when we asked the community, like, what do you want to see? And they said we want a slam down build, top mount battery, individual arms, like all the stuff we checked on. We asked, like, do you want this, do you want this, do you want this? And so this frame is for you guys, for all the ButterFlight fans out there that really believed in us and they thought that this was going to be a cool thing, and they helped us out come out with the spec list for it. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the frame when it does come out. I'm going to be testing it and doing more videos for you guys as much as I can. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, F60s, 2200 kVs are going to be going on this build. They're probably going to be swinging 6-inch props unless I end up running some GoPro action, and I'll switch back to 5-inch props, which should be okay as well with this motor. All right, guys. So there you have it. We did a little overview of the new ButterFlight, the BFF frame that are going to be coming out soon enough. Don't have yet a date on when this is coming out. Flynoceros guys have not told me yet exactly when it's going to be coming, but I'm sure once we get all through the feedback rounds and all that stuff, it won't be too long. But I will let you guys know for sure. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this mega catch-up where we talked a little bit about everything else. I will try to get more videos out for you guys, and I'm really sorry that I've been failing at that. But maybe I'll do more of these longer discussion videos where we just catch up about a bunch of different stuff. And when I have some new stuff to talk to you guys about, I will. Next week, next couple days or so, I hope to get some freestyle video for you guys, my standard DVR stuff, of the 5-inch, 6-inch, and 7-inch flying through some of the locations that I go to, for you guys to see where my tunes are at and how it's been flying lately. Because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about, guys. Part of the reason why I have not been posting as many videos and doing all that is that, to be honest with you guys, doing ButterFlight and doing all this stuff, it does take a toll. It does wear you out no matter what. There are so many people that want to ask you questions or suggest stuff or this and that. It just slowly burns you out. So I've been a bit burned out the past couple months there. I need to take a step back and just focus on flying. I haven't been able to fly as much as I want to, but I make sure to go out every Sunday and just fly and relax, and that's what it's all about. If you're not flying and you're not enjoying the flying of these quads, or at least building them or something like that, and there's no point in being in the hobby, you might as well do something else. I want to keep this thing fun. I want to keep this thing as something that I love doing, so I had to take a little bit of a step back there. So that's all, guys. I hope to catch you next time on the channel for us to talk about more cool stuff, more ButterFlight frames, and whatever else we got going on that week. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you next time.